emergency physician. I'm also a proud Ross University School of Medicine graduate, class of 2014. So I am a U.S. IMG. I'm originally from the state of Wisconsin, but I ended up going to school in the Caribbean, and now I practice emergency medicine here in the United States. I'm in London, Kentucky right now, which is far away from where I normally live in Memphis, and that's also where I trained. I trained at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center in Memphis, Tennessee. So that is me in a nutshell, and yeah, I am super excited to get started, you guys. Yay!
So just a little introduction. I'm Nina Lum. I live in London, Kentucky, where Kim is visiting.
Yay.
And I graduated from University of St. Eustatius in 2012. I trained in family medicine here at University of Kentucky Rural Track Program. I graduated in 2015, and I've been practicing as a hospitalist ever since then. So I'm really excited to do this, particularly because I'm a citizen of Cameroon. And so coming to the U.S. was like moving to a whole new country, a whole new place through the Caribbean. And I'm a non-U.S. IMG, which is very different from being a U.S. IMG. But really, the whole premise of what we're doing here is to encourage, empower, and equip you guys.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us a little bit about Still MD? Like, what does the name mean? How did we come up with this whole concept? What does it mean?
Yeah. So Still MD is an abbreviation of the phrase still a medical doctor.
Yes.
We were trying to find something catchy, something easy, something that you could wear on your shirt, right? Or something that you can talk about in your communities with your friends and really be proud about who you are as an IMG. Over 22% of physicians that are licensed to practice medicine in the States graduated from a school that's outside of the U.S. And so we really wanted to affirm this group of people because, like ourselves, we felt marginalized maybe, we felt a little bit dejected, we felt a little bit sort of less than in some instances. And so we really felt like, in real life, there's no difference in how we practice.
No.
Like, we're actually really good doctors. And so,
if we may say so ourselves.
I mean, like, excuse me. So, but like, honestly, I started to realize, like, I'm not less than, like, I'm just as good of a doctor as everybody else because I trained here and I have what it takes to treat my patients correctly.
Absolutely.
And so whether we graduated from Caribbean medical schools, that should not hold us back. Or whether we graduated from schools in India, Pakistan, China, Cameroon, Nigeria, whatever country that you are from and you find yourself here, you have a place here.
Absolutely.
And that's really what we're trying to share in this guidebook. It has a lot of information. It's small, it's easy, it's a fast read, but it has a lot of information. How to conquer step 1, the best way to make a positive impression during your clinical years, strategies to match into a residency program, and so much more. There's some visa advice from my experience as well. And Kim has so much information for Americans that are moving out of the country to study. So there's something for everybody in this book. So
absolutely.
Book for?
So I was going to say, I want to echo that, especially being a U.S. person, and you'll learn a little bit about it when you get your copy of Still MD, but I definitely talk about the struggle for me to get into a U.S. medical school. I applied multiple times, but unfortunately the MCAT was just not the best test for me. If I took it today, I still don't think I would do very well on it. And I knew I wanted to be a doctor, and some people had told me, like, maybe you should try Caribbean school. And I'm like, well, I don't want to go to a Caribbean school because, I knew the stereotypes that came along with going to school in the Caribbean. So what I decided to do is just say, hey, Ross University gave me an opportunity. Why not go after it full force? This was my goal in life, to become a physician. If this is the path that's open to me, let me just go for it full force. So you ask, who is this book for? This book is for anyone who is considering going to school outside of the United States but still wants to practice medicine here. If you're interested in going to medical school, and you thought about going to school internationally or even a Caribbean school, this book is definitely for you. If you are in medical school as a Caribbean grad, as an international student, Caribbean student, medical student, then you definitely need this. We talk about our whole journeys. We could tell our stories, our personal stories about what we went through in our path. So you'll know specifically, what we've been through. And so we're able to share that with you. If you're a graduate of a Caribbean or international medical school and you're interested in practicing in the United States, this is a great book for you because you'll know our path getting there and you'll get some tips and tricks along the way. Or if you just like us for some strange reason and you're our friends and our family members, you can buy this book too. Some of you guys are not doctors and not even trying to be some, but we want to make sure that you guys have this book because it's literally a labor of love. This is kind of a part of our story that we really probably haven't shared with people outside of the medical community. So this is who this book is for.
Right, absolutely. And guys, you can find this book right now. It's live on stillmd.com. Absolutely. STILLMD.com. So just type it out in your browser after the live video because we want you to stay engaged. Yes. If you have a second device, type it on stillmd.com and you can get this book right now.
Absolutely.
So, okay. How do we proceed from here? Let's see. We have dedications next.
Yes. So this is a real life book, like I said. And so we wrote dedications at the front of the book to some people in our lives, or I guess for you all who are reading this book, and we want to share our dedications with them. So my dedication is to those who crisscross the world in order to obtain the knowledge needed to save lives.
Can you talk to those people for a second?
Yeah, so it's really all of those other people who are in life doing what I was trying to do. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to save lives. I wanted to impact people's health, but I didn't know that I was going to have to leave the comfort of home, being in the United States, to do that. So for all of you all who are brave enough to step outside of your home country or step outside of your comfort zone to pursue your goal to becoming a physician or a nurse practitioner or PA or whatever you're trying to do to impact people's lives, this book is definitely for you. I commend you. I am a part of your team, and this book will definitely encourage you along the way.
Absolutely. So my dedication is to all international medical graduates, affectionately known as IMGs. For those I've met, for those I've inspired and led, and for those I'm yet to meet. Guys, for those of you who are immigrants, you understand what it means to leave your country, to go to another place because you want a better life. And I'm not gonna cry.
Yes, you are.
But you know what it means to have to leave home in search for something bigger than yourself, because you know that if you go somewhere else, things are gonna be better for you. And that's what medicine was for me. It was I knew I had to leave to get a better shot.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that I'm here right now, and I'm so happy that I can influence other people that are like me, that left on student visas to go abroad to study and now have a thriving career. And I really want to help other people to do the same.
That's really powerful, Nina. That really is. And I just want to stop for a second. This is not on our program. Secretly, behind the scenes, we have a little program that we're following. But I wanted to do some thank yous. And I was going to do it at the end, but I think I'm going to do it right now. I want to say specifically thank you to Nina. Really briefly, she alluded to it earlier. I met her at a conference early last year, and I saw her at another conference a couple weeks later, and I had this idea after meeting her. I knew she talked about the IMG journey, and I talked a little about it. I was like, I went to a Caribbean school, but I don't really talk about it because I'm a little afraid. So I want to thank you for allowing me to come on this journey with you. This is something that literally we talked on a balcony in Atlanta about, and I had no idea that it was going to become what it has become. And you guys have been so inspiring to us. So I definitely want to say all of you guys who have started following me, started following Dr. Nina, we truly want to say thank you. I also want to say thank yous really quick to our graphic designer, our family and friends who have been listening to us. Gripe about it and write Instagram captions and put up big pictures and stuff like that. Yeah. I have a really core group of friends who have been, cheering for me behind the scenes, and I want to say thank you guys too. More importantly, I think Nina and I both want to say thank you to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without Him, we would not be here. Period.
If it wasn't for the Lord.
Yes. City Girl said period. So, period.
Anyway.
But just to give you a breather from the tears.
I know. Thank you so much for saying that. So guys, if you are a future doctor, a student of a foreign medical school, or a physician seeking to practice medicine in the U.S., this book is for you. And
Absolutely.
You can find it on stillimd.com. So let's go over the outline of the book, shall we?
So you know what's in here, and so you know what you guys are actually getting when you open the book. You'll know kind of a little bit what to expect.
Okay. So we open up with an introduction, and that just tells you a little bit about the why, right? Why we chose this book, why we chose the title, what we're about. And then we swiftly drift into chapter 1, which is the hustle before the MD.
The hustle.
Y'all, you guys know about that hustle. And the way the chapters are broken up, it's in 2 sections. So it always opens up with Dr. Kim, and then it follows through with Dr. Nina. And the reason we did it that way is I know there is a lot more U.S. IMGs than there are non-U.S. IMGs from the data.
Okay.
And so we wanted that group to come first.
Okay.
Right? And then when you segue into that, into the, the oddies like myself, then you go into the non-U.S. IMGs. But the material is complementary, all right? So chapter 2 is before you take off. So before you take off into your foreign school, or before you take off to wherever you're going to. And chapter 3 is Welcome to the Jungle, and that just talks a little bit about our first few years and orienting ourselves to a different environment.
Yes.
And how you too can do the same when you take that journey.
Yes, and literally, I went to school in Dominica. Ross University is now in Barbados, but I literally landed in the middle of the jungle. Like, all I could see was green, lush things, and then all of a sudden, like a runway appeared before me. So I literally talk about like how I landed in Jurassic Park in this section.
Yeah, chapter 4 is deep sea diving into the first 2 years, and this is very important because basic sciences for those that are in the Caribbean schools is very important for your step 1. I mean, you should not be fooling with that stuff. Like, that's important stuff. So we're really going into how to succeed and how to thrive through basic sciences. And then chapter 5 is the Holy Grail, the USMLE Step 1, which is the #1 predictor of how and where you match.
Absolutely.
Believe it or not. So we really go into the details of tips and tricks, how to study, what's important, what's not, and how to schedule your life around step 1.
Absolutely.
And then chapter 6 is Pearls for the Clinical Years. So this is really applicable even for a non-Caribbean medical graduate. So people that are already physicians in other countries and looking for pearls for clinical years. What is important when you do an observership or when you do an externship or an internship? We really drop out some pearls, and then it's also applicable for those that are 3rd and 4th year medical students.
Mm-hmm.
And then chapter 7 is applicable for every single one of you watching, applying for residency. This is a big deal.
Huge.
A lot of times people don't get in just because they're not doing the application the right way. And so we walk you through the different things that helped us, how we maneuvered it, both as a U.S. IMG and a non-U.S. IMG. And this is applicable, again, for all doctors that are already in practice in other countries that want to practice here or train here, because some people want to train and go back home. And then doctors or student doctors that are in Caribbean schools or other offshore medical schools.
Absolutely. And throughout these chapters, we're always blending our story with our advice.
Yes.
So I will tell you a story about how I went through, let's say, the match process, and then I'll tell you my pearls and you can't leave it on the table type of deal, tips and tricks that you absolutely need to know from my standpoint from me. And then Dr. Nina in her section definitely does the same thing, and that happens throughout the book.
Yeah. And I think what's really important is, like, the book is really, the subtitle is To Physicians' Advice for International Medical Graduates.
Absolutely.
So what we're not just telling you our stories, but we're telling you lessons learned from our stories. So my omissions, you'll find them in there. The things that I should have done that I did not do, you'll find them in there as well. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then we move from that chapter right into interview season and sort of the tips and tricks for the interview trail. And then chapter 9 is the match, which is coming up soon in March. So we talk about that as well, preparing for the match, ranking, how to rank programs, how we ranked our programs. And then chapter 10 is the intern year and beyond. And we wrote this post recently about imposter syndrome. But really that chapter really just talks about settling into the intern year, starting residency, and then really feeling like an MD. And then we conclude with Beyond the Blue Seas. And Beyond the Blue Seas just really kind of, dishes out some affirmative words for you. It's like a conclusion of the book. And what that really does is just tells you really what you can do, how far you can have vision for your life and your mission and your career. and such. And then the really exciting part of this book, guys.
Yes.
So remember, and for those of you we've been friends on the internet for a while, what month was it?
That was in October.
In October last year.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Atlanta for something else. Me and Kim were in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a dinner. It was like so impromptu. I was just like, let's host a dinner for IMGs in Atlanta. And we did that.
We had like 15, 20 people.
About 20 people signed up. Yeah, 20 people signed up for the dinner. And we had this really lovely dinner at like some Italian restaurant. It was so great. Mm-hmm. And we opened up the opportunity for some of our guests to write excerpts for a book. Like, just give your own advice to other IMGs. And guess what? We had several people submit entries. So in this book, you'll find, this is a student from SGU. Her name is Sharon Udemba. And she gives her own little piece of advice for IMGs. And then we have Valentina Osirie with the Washington University of Health Sciences. She's an MS4. We have Millis Cockler, MS3, she's an SGU, Nina Snowden, Paula Nwaji, and Millis Cockler. So these are just, IMGs that are still walking that walk and still talking that talk, and they're actually sharing their own tips at the end of the book.
And their own encouraging words, which is so powerful.
It was so powerful. I think that was like one of the peaks of the book.
Yeah.
And also giving them the opportunity to be in a published book and to be like stamped in the book forever, because their advice is going to stay on for as long as the book lives.
Absolutely. So shout out to all of you guys who came to the event, and shout out to those of you who submitted words of encouragement that we put in our book. We thank you. People that are going to be reading this book want to thank you too. So awesome. So if you forgot or have not gone on stillmd.com, you can still do it because it is officially launched. You can buy your autographed copy. We're going to get those in the mail. If not today, then tomorrow. So make sure that you go ahead and order those. If you want to get the ebook, or if you just want a regular copy, you can go to amazon.com, and we also have a copy there. So we've talked a little bit about the book. We talked about our motivations. We've had some emotions about it ourselves, i.e. Dr. Nina. And I'm usually the crier, so I'm surprised she's cried, because I'm the one that cries like 2 seconds flat. But we really want you to feel, when you read this book, we really want you to feel inspired. We want you to feel empowered. We want you to see yourselves in our journey as well. There's some things that I think all Ross grads have been through. I think there's some students that have gone through the University of St. Eustatius. You guys will all have the same type of story. But at the same time, it's really good to know that there's somebody out there that has walked the walk before you, and that you can do it too. Yeah. Because a lot of things that scared me about going to school in the Caribbean is that all the students fail out. Everybody fails out. Nobody succeeds. There's all these horror stories that are so pervasive that no one's really talking about. You know what? No, I did fine on the island. I might have struggled just a little bit. I got help, but then I moved on. And so we want to make sure that we're continuing to put positivity out there so that you feel encouraged, and that you don't listen to all those negative thoughts that may be coming through your mind, or maybe other people are telling you. Yeah. Because honestly, before I started at Ross University, I had a physician tell me flat out in my face, "Oh, you'll never match. You'll never get a residency going to that school." And I was just like, okay. So that was always in the back of my head, to hear another practicing physician cut me down before I even walked through the doors, before I even took my first test, or even took, even my first class. So we don't want to be that for you. We want to be that voice of encouragement. We want to support you. We want to motivate you. You can do this. You can be a practicing physician in the United States. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise.
And guys, we don't want to not tell you the truth, right? It's going to be difficult.
Absolutely.
Parts of the journey is going to be challenging. But really what we're trying to say is, despite the challenges, despite the odds, yes, there's people that fail out of school, but you don't have to be that person. Mm-hmm. If you follow the advice that we're sharing with you, you will not be that person.
Absolutely.
Follow it to the T. It's like, if you do the right things in life over and over again with consistency, you're going to achieve results. Mm-hmm. So the people that are failing out, the people that are not matching, the people that are not achieving those goals and milestones as they should, there's always something that has happened in the way there, where maybe they wish they had information.
Mm-hmm.
They wish they had some kind of resource to help them get to the next point.
They wish they had a leader, a mentor,
a coach, whatever that is. Now they didn't have that, and hindsight's always 20/20.
Absolutely.
And so what we're really trying to do is we're trying to prepare you. So before you start, and even if you've already started, now is the time to take action and create change, right? Because I'm consistently learning.
Absolutely.
I mean, every day I learn something new. I read books all the time. I listen to podcasts. I listen to YouTube videos. I read some of your captions. Some of y'all be wise, like real wise, you know. And so really, this is just another resource to add to what you use. Go to stillmd.com, get a book, start reading it. It's a quick read.
Absolutely. And you know what? This Still MD movement does not stop with this book. We have more coming out for you. Dr. Nina's already a coach, and some of you guys have done her course in the IMG roadmap. I also want to jump in and start supporting students, so that will be coming down the pipe for me. Yeah. We also have some cool apparel that you guys can get so you feel encouraged and you feel empowered even when you're just hanging out at home or if you're in the gym or working out. So there's lots more things that we have for you so you can have some ways to look up and feel encouraged and feel supported. So this movement is just beginning. You guys, 2020 is our year. We are taking over.
Keep your eyes peeled.
We are taking over.
Keep them peeled. Okay.
So let's read a really quick excerpt so you know a little bit about what we're talking about in the book. And you're probably like, okay, you guys are talking all about the outline and all those other things. Let's get to some nitty gritty.
We're good on time.
Yeah, we're great on time. Oh, you know what? And then while we're doing this, if anyone has any questions, unfortunately on my page, I can't see the comments right now, but if you're on Dr. Nina Lum's page, if you want to just drop some comments, some questions in the section. I see you guys asking about the ebook, and I see you guys saying yes and loving this and loving the movement. So if you have any other questions for us, we're going to take a couple really, really quick in just a minute. So if you want to drop those questions, we'll get to that in just a few seconds. So
awesome. I want to see too.
All right. So
let's see. What do we have now? You're reading your introduction.
Yeah.
First.
Well, I was going to read just a small little section, and we talked about it just a little bit, but I guess I will. Yeah, okay. I will actually read something a little different. Okay, so this is a part of my introduction. I don't want to give away too much of the good stuff and the meat of the book, so I'll read a little bit of the introduction. And it talks a little bit about how I got to the point of writing this book with Nina. And I say, to be very honest, for a long time, I was ashamed of the path that I took to become a physician. My whole life, everyone knew that I wanted to be a doctor, and I worked towards the goal diligently. To not go to a U.S. medical school felt as though I was somehow less than someone that was educated stateside. After finishing my preclinicals at Dominica and coming back stateside, I compared myself to U.S. medical students that I interacted with. I always worried that they knew and had more than I did. During my first few months of residency, I struggled to ask questions because I was worried that everyone else knew the answer, since I was the only foreign graduate in my program. It took me a while to be proud of this journey that I took to medicine. This route is definitely the road less traveled. In some ways, it's rougher. Looking back, however, taking this scenic route also made me a better physician. I've treated people with almost no resources as well as every resource. Going to an offshore school built up my determination and resilience. So that was just a couple of chapters from my introduction. That's a little bit about me. So yeah, that's just a little bit of what you get when you get your copy of Still MD. Oh, and you also saw my post about me getting stranded in Trinidad. I also go into depth about what happened after that. Clearly, I'm not still in Trinidad. I'm in Kentucky. So I made it, but I talked a little bit more about what happens in the book.
Okay, that was really nice. I like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm so proud of you, though.
Oh, thanks,
girl.
girl.
Let's just take a moment and talk about this.
What?
I'm really proud of you for like owning your ish. You know, standing up and refusing to go with the rhetoric. Yeah. That's amazing.
At the end of the day, you just have to walk in your truth. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, it's yours. You can't get rid of your past.
Just true.
So my introduction. I'm just gonna read a little excerpt from it. I did not plan to go to a career medical school. Unlike Dr. Brown, I stumbled upon this alternative to practicing medicine in the United States after missing the only option available to me in my home country in Cameroon in 2004. And then I skip forward. I'm not gonna go. It's heavy, guys. So I wrote this book to help you with actionable steps that you can take to create your success as an IMG. I have witnessed the same vigor that I carry each time I've interviewed countless of US and non-US IMGs for my blog series, The IMG Roadmap, a place where previous IMGs share success pearls on the non-traditional path to medicine. My conclusion today is that a great physician is not made only through, My conclusion today is that a great physician is made not only through the educational system they're reared in, but the strength of their individual work ethic and devotion to high-value patient care in whatever plane of medicine that they choose.
Preach it.
Okay? Hopefully, I'm talking to you, you, the foreign or international medical graduate or student that's holding this book, will remember that you get to define your future, and no one else can do that for you. The instruction in this book is meant to lead and guide so that you can do what other successful IMGs have known to do. Remember, the end of a thing is better than the beginning thereof. That's Ecclesiastes 8 verse 4. Woo. I am still an MD, ain't I?
Woo! Let's just pass the collection plate.
Drops book.
I know, she's like
room.
Preaching, absolutely preaching. So that is just a little bit of an excerpt from our introduction of the book. And yeah, so again, if you want it, go ahead and go to stillimd.com and get your copy. Someone asked in the comments, is it available as an ebook? Absolutely. It is available as an ebook. Go to amazon.com. You can just type in StillMD. And it should pop up. You can add in the 2 physicians advice if it doesn't come up immediately. And then you can get your copy of the ebook. Okay, so we do have a couple of questions. I'm going to give this to you, Nina. Toshaholic asked, how many months did you take to study for step 1?
Oh my gosh. So my step 1 journey was very complex because that was also a season where I had a gap. So I took about, I don't remember, 4 or 5 months or so to study for step 1. And that's really long. But you can, a lot of people do about a month, 2 months of dedicated study time. I think that's adequate. I think the longer you take to study, you're less likely to perform well. That's just my opinion. I don't know if there's any data to support that, but I don't think that people should spend a lot of time studying for it. Because guess what? You should be prepared for step 1 from day 1 of medical school. Because if you are prepared through basic sciences, it won't take you that long. Hopefully it answers that question.
Yes. So for step 1,
let me ask you a question.
Well, I don't see another one, but I was going to say for step 1, I think I took probably about 10 weeks. And that is because I wish I had taken a little bit of time off. So when I came back from what Ross called at that time 5th semester, which is kind of like a bridge to clinical sciences, I think they call it something else now. I can't remember what it's, Foundations of Internal Medicine or something similar to that. I was still in Dominica to do that, and then I came back to the U.S. So that was 20 months that I was living in Dominica, and I missed the United States so bad. But at the same time, I was like really trying to, blow the step 1 out of the water. I knew I wanted to be an ER doctor, and I knew what it took to do that. So I wish I had taken a couple of more weeks off because I had to get back acclimated to having my car and my friends and my family, getting back into church and things like that. So, but hardcore studying, I'd say I probably took maybe 10 weeks to do so. And some of that was a little bit of fluff as well. So I use, and everybody always asks us what we use. I always use DIT, Doctors in Training. I use USMLE World. I use the First Aid book. I use Pathoma, and we didn't have Sketchy Micro or some of the other things that you guys have now, so I have no idea about that, so I can't tell you anything, but I'm just telling you what I use as well.
Another thing that I should probably be transparent about, which took me so long to study for the step, was like I was on a visa, and at some point, there was something, I don't remember exactly what happened, but my status was like shaky. And so my test that I scheduled for was canceled because I needed to have like a legit status to sit for the exam. And so if you do the USCIS process, it takes like a month or two to hear back from them. So I didn't have like official identification to send my board. So that's really that's the meat of things. But you know, that's a whole different story for another day.
Yes. I think we got time for one more question if there's one on there.
Someone asked, how do I get the shirt you guys are wearing?
It's also available on stillimd.com. We put the shirts on there. So if you scroll closer to the bottom, there's a picture of me wearing this sweatshirt, and you can put in an order for it, and we can send it to you. We have a couple ideas for a couple of different things as well. We're not going to drop that just yet. We're just trying to feel out and see if that's something that you guys may want in the future.